latest on July 16th around the wide world of tropics. Here's your tropical weather bulletin. The only system that's potentially a tropical cyclone right now is Falcon, named by the Philippines, with Signal 1 warnings in effect over there. Nothing else is active around the world right now as we look at the image here, but a few invests are laying about. It's day 46 of the Atlantic hurricane season. The remnants of Barry are still alive, but not a tropical cyclone anymore over the central part of the United States. Day 63 of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season shows you 97E, which is way out east there and could develop into our next cyclone. Falcon is about to move through the northern part of Luzon later today and could be a significant rainmaker. No systems are active in the southern hemisphere as we speak, so that leaves the main story, which is the potential Philippine storm. The next name on the Japan's naming list, the international list, will be Danas. It's currently got 35 mile-an-hour winds and a pressure of 996 millibars, 225 miles from Palanan in eastern Luzon, 16.8 north, 125.8 degrees east. What's expected of this system is still fairly unclear, certainly in the track forecast. We expect it will become a tropical storm at some point, but the latest shows that not even a landfall in the Philippines by the looks of things, and it will veer off towards the north. Landfall in the Philippines can't be ruled out, but the model consensus keeps it further south in a very disorganized mess. This is a look not at that system, but this is 97E in the far eastern Pacific there. You can just about make out Costa Rica, I believe it is, on the top right hand side. Very little of this system at the moment, but wind shear is very low and sea surface temperatures are warm, so conditions are very conducive for the next few days. So let's take a look around the world. This is the North Atlantic. You can see the remnants of Barry, very large across the screen there in the United States at the top left. Elsewhere, there's very little going on. A little interesting feature there in the Caribbean and some convective activity over Central America right now, which certainly looks interesting but isn't likely to produce anything of a cyclonic nature. The Gulf of Mexico, very quiet now after Barry. The Eastern Pacific, you can see this is the main part of the ocean. You can't see that system near Costa Rica, but you can see the rest of the basin is looking fairly quiet. You can still see the remnants of 4E there on the far right hand side of the screen as we see it now. And another little feature there entering the Central Pacific. I think it did have a chance on the National Hurricane Center a few days ago, but not anymore. Here's the Western Pacific. And you can see on the far left hand side there, Falcon, and a lot of monsoonal activity associated with it really towards the south there. Models really confused by this. The GFS, the latest GFS, even hinting that it could develop a new center on the western side of the Philippines, with the old one heading up towards Taiwan as we saw earlier. Australia and the South Pacific looks like this, so you can see a system there just north of Fiji that won't amount to much, and in the North Indian Ocean not too much going on here either. Again, a bit of monsoonal activity, but really not much else going on in the basin. Very quiet once more. In the Eastern Pacific, sea surface temperatures are pretty warm, 30 degrees plus along the coast of Mexico. Ahead of that invest, they're fairly warm, 28 or so. In the Atlantic, sea surface temperatures cooled off a little bit after Hurricane Barry. Out in the Western Atlantic, though, out in the ocean, things are really warming up there as well, above 28 degrees Celsius if we get a system there. The Indian Ocean, very warm around the equator, but not quite as much further north. The hotspots of the Western Pacific are still pretty much where the system is right now, near the Philippines and further east, and also in the Gulf of Tonkin. But really across the board, temperatures warm all the way up to Okinawa. This is Tropical Depression Falcon on this imagery, and you can see how it's been trying to get a center together. If it does, it's a very broad one, but it's already got indicated winds from satellite of 35 miles per hour. Again, this one's going to be watched more for its rain than anything else, and because of its difficulty in forecasting, especially because it could go anywhere from southern China to eastern China via Taiwan. Here's the naming list. The next name in the Atlantic is Chantal. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out for Delilah. Akoni is next up in the Central Pacific. Danas is next in the Western Pacific if this system becomes suitable for naming according to the JMA, and in the North Indian Ocean, Hika is on the way next. You can find Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com with the latest, our YouTube page, search Force 13 if you're not there already, subscribe if you haven't so far, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well if you'd like to get any messages through to us. We'll respond promptly. That's all for now. We'll have another update, Tropical Weather Bulletin, tomorrow. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/Force13. You can also contact me on Discord. It's Fool13 at extension 9094 and Force13 on Skype. You can also find our server link to our Discord server for Tropical Weather Chat in our description.